Hello and welcome back. It's your girl here, Becky Maura or Becky Mange. A continuation of my introduction. On my first video, I mentioned that I'm going to continue with my introduction. I mentioned that I am from Kenya, central part of Kenya. And Kenya is in eastern part of Africa. And in Kenya, where I was born, is a very remote place called Dodori. And actually, I think I lied. I wasn't born in Dondori. I was brought up in Dondori, but I was born in another remote place called Sorai. It's in Rift Valley, but we moved when I was about 2 years old, due to clashes, post-election violence. So that's where we moved to Dunduri now. That is where my grandparents were, but they didn't have anywhere we can live. But fortunately, my dad was blessed to have a piece of land there. He had bought it before. So in Sorai, we were well settled, of what I hear, because I was little. I was only 2 years old when we moved. But now, due to crashes, everything was gone. We were just left with the land that my dad had bought in Dunduri. So we moved with nothing and we start right from scratch. So in my family, I am the last born in a family of 7, 5 boys and 2 girls. The boys are the firstborns, so the girls, we enjoyed being the lastborns. We were well taken care of and we were well protected. So my sister is the one who, I'm behind my sister. She's the older one. So, and I have 5 older brothers. You couldn't touch us, you can tell. So, as you know, after crashes, if you're Kenyan, you understand this. After crashes, you start right from scratch. So when I grew up and I was the age of going, like knowing myself, going to kindergarten, I found a family that couldn't afford even a remis. Even for our body, we used to use the oil, the old oil. My dad was a masonry, so after doing all his work in a Hindi place, he would come home. He used to work in Nakuru. He would come back home with some crude oil, which is very old, until it have turned to brownish. And that is what we would use for our body and our face going to school. It was so stinky, but we had to use it because we didn't have anything else. But it was an advantage because in Dunduri, there's a lot of cold. So we used to have like cold burns. Like me, my skin is so pale. So I would get the cold burns here on my cheeks. So with the oil, at least it helped a little bit. It kept my skin safe. But we could stink. But we went through it. As usual, challenges, having no clothes. We had friends to donate. My first dress to go with to kindergarten, I was given by a friend. My dad was a church elder. He was previously a church elder where we were, and when we moved, he continued to be. When he joined the church that we went to, he became an elder too. So the pastor that was there was his best friend. So his first daughter was a little bit older than me. He was like maybe a class or two um, in front of me. So when she finished kindergarten, she gave me her dress. But it was not no. After 1 year of going to school, it had some viracas here and there. But that is what I used to join the kindergarten. And I was really young. And given that now my elder siblings were in a different school, I really didn't want to go to school. So I was these kids, and being the last born, these kids that wake up, the first thing they do after waking up is start crying. I would cry. I would start crying when I'm in the bed. I would cry until I reach to school. Or sometimes our house, like the farm that we had bought, it was like really deep in the bushes. We didn't have neighbors. It was like in the bushes. So going to school was quite far, and to get where the other houses or the neighbors started, it was like maybe a couple miles. So going to school all alone, it was really scary for me, and I would cry the whole. I hated school because of that. And now my siblings could go together because they were in primary school. I was in nursery school by myself. So I was so scared. I hated school because of that. It's really cold. Sometimes you don't even have shoes. Oh my God, it's freezing. So I would go and hide. Even if I go to school, I'll not reach to school. I'll go and hide in a bush. And I was so smart because I was hiding the same place all the time. So there was this guy, this man that knew that that's my hiding spot. So every day when he comes to the shopping center, because he used to come in the morning, he would come and check in my hiding spot, and he will find me there and take me to nursery school. And for some reason, I think my teacher was so understanding. She did not punish me. She just let me go inside. So that's how I went. But I was a bright student, because even not wanting to go to school, even going with all that problems and all that challenges, I was really a smart girl. And when it came to going to study one, that is first grade here, that at that time I'm old. So that time we used to one of the interview thing they were doing, I don't know what was the reason of that, you had to put your hands and go over your head and touch your ear. I think they were just trying to show if you are old enough or big enough to go to study one. So I couldn't touch. I had passed the exam, but I couldn't touch because at that time I was really short. So I couldn't touch. So the teacher told me to go home. And who is my dad? My daughter passed the exam. Why are you saying she can't go to nursery school just because she cannot touch her ear? So she took me to primary school where they were doing the actual interview. She said, I passed the exam, so why are you not letting her to do the interview? So they didn't have an answer, so they were like, okay, join them. I joined them and I passed. So that's how I started my standard one. At least I was better off. I still could cry in the morning, but the good thing, now we are going to the same school with my siblings. I think my sister was like 2 classes before me. So at least I was good. I have my brother. I think by then we had 2 brothers in school, and then my sister and I. So I was at least in safe hands. I would not feel lonely going to school. And then